Perhaps you've tried some weight loss strategies over the years, some things have worked, some things haven't, and it can be incredibly frustrating to lose weight. It can be incredibly frustrating to change your overall body composition. Body composition, of course, is a much better term, in my opinion, to use as opposed to whether somebody is obese, thin, underweight, overweight, sarcopenic. Body composition gives us a much more accurate perspective. So let's talk about that in this video. What are some goals? What are some strategies? What are some ways? And how is it that some people can very easily lose weight while other people struggle quite a bit? My name is Dr. Mohammad Ashori. I'm a board-certified MD, a family medicine physician practicing out of California, beautiful Long Beach, California. And in my practice, I've seen it in every which way you can imagine. Somebody who's cut back drastically on their calories, somebody who didn't change their calories and just increased their activity level, other people who took medications, others who've had surgery. For every type of body, there is a way to lose weight successfully, and for others, it can be incredibly difficult and it can be incredibly challenging. Fortunately, there are some things that we can say, some generalities that hold true for most of us. For most of my patients, when I try to explain it to them, I break it down into three things. I talk about calorie, activity level, and metabolism. So why these three? Why not others? And of course, remember, I'm not a weight loss expert. I'm not a guru in obesity medicine. I'm sharing with you what my patients have experienced. The reason we talk about calories is because whether you eat healthy, whether you eat unhealthy, your body's going to need a certain amount of energy to complete its tasks. In general, when there is a surplus of energy, when there's a surplus of calories, it's going to get deposited either as muscle, if you're working out quite a bit, or as fatty tissue, whether under the skin or sometimes in the viscera, or kind of like central fat as the terminology goes. And while there is calorie balances that our body tries to maintain, it can shift it. For example, if there's a lot of stress, your calorie usage might change. If you drastically reduce the amount of calories you eat, or maybe starve yourself for excess number of hours or days even, sometimes your metabolism can actually go down. So the calorie theory, it's not so much that it's not true, it's just that saying something like calorie in equals calorie out and that's it, that's the end of the story, certainly that's been shown to not be quite as accurate. And then we have kind of the exercise model, the exercise theory. It is closely related to the calorie theory because the more energy you expend through exercises, weightlifting, resistance training, your body's gonna need more. It's going to burn more calories, it's going to use more calories. So those of us who are incredibly active, doing a lot of exercises, we're just going to need to feed our body more calories. Otherwise, we'll actually end up losing weight. So there is something to say about that balance of what's coming in and what's going out. Now, the third one is metabolism. It's different because even though your exercise and your calorie intake or lack thereof can affect your metabolism can also be affected by your stress level, by what you eat, how you eat, gut flora, gut bacteria, gut health. I know some people don't like that term, but gut health is quite important because the kind of things that we feed our body can affect the balance of the various hormones in the body, and that can directly affect the way our metabolism functions. Some people call it cardiometabolic rate, call it basal metabolic rate, call it metabolism. It's pretty much all the same. Now, of course, for one person, they can just use one of these strategies and they're going to be incredibly successful. Their body is just very responsive. Another person is probably going to need to use 2 or even 3 of these modalities or functions of the body to be able to effectively lose weight. And maybe the goal is not weight loss, but to change their body composition. So for somebody who is very skinny, let's say, they need to put on a little bit more muscle mass, but they probably also need to gain a little bit of fat. Well, how do you gain the fat if you just focus on bringing in extra calories? And if the calories are not the ideal type of calories, you might get a lot of visceral fat. If there's a lot of stress and just poor metabolism, again, you might get more visceral fat and not more of the subcutaneous fat, which is considered to be a little bit healthier than visceral fat. And then, of course, some people need exercise. For some, aerobic exercise is great and it works beautifully. It puts very little stress on their body. For others, it tears them up. They can't handle it, so they need to go towards resistance training. One person might do incredibly well with light weights, just high repetition, and somebody else is going to have to really increase the amount of weights that they use, and that's really where they get the most bang for their buck. And then finally, in the third category, we have our metabolism. For some people, it's stress management. Every time their stress goes up, their metabolism just breaks down. Every time they don't get enough sleep, every time they eat certain things that are maybe really high sugar or very high fat, for whatever reason, their gut bacteria or the chemicals in their body, they just don't cooperate. And that can lead to an imbalance of the proper body composition. Whatever strategy you use, just remember that you can experiment. You can do a lot of experimentation in this phase. You might be somebody who's actually cutting your calories excessively. So it might be a good idea to write that down and see, hey, did I actually lose some weight? If it's very rapid weight loss, it's probably more water weight. If it's slower weight loss, that could be both muscle or fat. And then also try to define in your document, what is it you're trying to do? Is your goal a better body composition, or is it just pure weight loss? Is it fat loss? Is it muscle loss? What's your goal? And experiment with the calories. Decrease your calories just a little, then increase your calories a little bit. Shift your calorie focus. Sometimes you need a little bit more fat. Sometimes you can add in a little bit more protein. And when you do the exercise, try to kind of gauge how much energy you're burning. How do you feel after an exercise session? Do you feel exhausted, depleted? That may not be ideal. Now, we might see a lot of professional athletes work out really hard, but that doesn't mean that we need to be professional athletes. And just because somebody's a professional athlete does not mean that they're incredibly healthy. So do the kind of exercise that helps you feel invigorated, still have something left in the tank, and of course, on occasion, when necessary, you can do some very high intensity exercises for other health gain needs. And finally, with metabolism, try to experiment with more rest, maybe more meditation time, maybe better sleep, longer sleep, maybe cutting back on some sleep if that's causing you to have insomnia. Unfortunately, that can happen with some people. Experimenting with these three things might get you to your goal, to your ideal goal. Now, if you still have some problems, leave it in the comments. Share your journey with us. We'd all love to hear it. And to find out more, go to drashori.com. Take care.